My phone rang while I was folding wedding napkins, and I knew, before I answered, that something was wrong. I remember the sound. That sharp buzz on the table. Too loud for a quiet afternoon. Too cruel for a heart already tired. The napkins were ivory, soft, embossed with gold letters. Evan and Lila. My son's name. His fiancée's name. I smiled without realizing it. A foolish, fragile smile. Finally, I whispered to myself, my boy is getting his happy ending. The phone buzzed again. I wiped my hands on my apron and answered. Hello. Silence. Then breathing. Heavy. Uneven. Hello. I said again. Finally a voice. Low. Shaking. Mrs. Carter, it's me. I froze. It was Marilyn. My neighbor. My friend. The woman who watered my plants when I traveled. What's wrong, Marilyn? I asked. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she said, Where are you right now? I'm at home, I said slowly. Why? Another pause. Then she whispered the sentence that cracked my life straight down the middle. Don't go upstairs. I laughed. A nervous sound. What do you mean, don't go upstairs? Her voice broke. I just saw something. Something I can't unsee. My heart began to pound. Marilyn, I said, sharper now. You're scaring me. She swallowed. I was walking my dog, she said. Past your house. I stood very still. And I saw your husband's car in the driveway. That didn't mean anything. Richard lived here. So, I said, that's normal. Another breath. And I saw a young woman. Blonde. In a white dress. My hands tightened around the phone. A white dress. I echoed. Yes, she whispered. She was laughing. She kissed him. The room tilted. That's not funny, I said. I'm not joking, Nana. My knees weakened. She went inside with him, Marilyn continued. Upstairs. I tried to breathe. A young woman, I said slowly. Are you sure? Yes. Did you recognize her? Another pause. Longer this time. Then she said the words that turned my blood to ice. It looks like Evan's fiancée. I dropped the phone. It hit the floor with a dull thud. But I didn't move. I couldn't. My ears rang. My chest burned. No, I whispered. No. 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 I picked the phone back up. You're mistaken, I said. You must be. I wish I was, Marilyn sobbed. I stared at the staircase. The shadows at the top felt heavy, like they were watching me. You didn't see anything else? I asked. She hesitated. Then she said quietly, I heard the bedroom door close. I ended the call. The house felt different now. Smaller. Tainted. I stood there for a long time, listening. Then I heard it. A laugh. Soft. Female. Coming from upstairs. My legs moved before my mind caught up. Each step creaked. Each one felt like betrayal. I reached the bedroom door. It was closed. I raised my hand to knock. But then, I heard my husband's voice. Low. Intimate. Careful, he said. If Nana finds out. A woman giggled. Relax, she said. She won't. I recognized that voice. I pressed my hand to my mouth. It was Lila, my son's fiancée. I stepped back. The world went black. The morning of the wedding arrived like a funeral dressed in white. I didn't sleep. Not a single minute. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the door, heard the laugh, felt the knife twist deeper. Richard slept beside me, peaceful, unbothered. I stared at the ceiling and wondered, how long? How often? How could he? And worse, how could she? At dawn, I slipped out of bed. I stood in the bathroom mirror. My face looked older than 74. Hollow. Betrayed. You're not crazy, I whispered to myself. You heard what you heard. Downstairs, the house buzzed with wedding chaos. Florists arrived. Caterers unloaded trays. Music played softly. Lila's dress hung in the living room. White. Pure. Mocking. She came down the stairs smiling. Nana, she said brightly, does this look okay? She spun in front of me. I stared at her innocent face, her soft curls, her lies. Yes, I said. It's beautiful. She hugged me. I stiffened. You're like the mother I never had, she whispered. My stomach churned. Evan entered the room. My son. My baby. He looked so proud. So he grinned. How do I look? I swallowed hard. Handsome, I said. Just like your father. Richard appeared behind him. He kissed my cheek. You okay, sweetheart? He asked. I searched his eyes. Nothing. No guilt. No shame. Just calm. I'm fine, I lied. The ceremony began in the backyard. Guests filled the seats. The aisle gleamed with petals. I sat in the front row. My hand shook. The music swelled. Lila walked toward Evan. She looked radiant. And I saw it. She glanced at Richard. Just for a second. They locked eyes. She smiled. He nodded. My chest tightened. They're not done, I realized. This isn't over. The vows began. I take you, Evan said. Lila hesitated. Just a breath. Then, I take you. The applause exploded. Everyone stood. Everyone but me. I remained seated. Frozen. Richard leaned over. Nana, he whispered. Stand up. I looked at him, and something inside me snapped. I stood, but not to clap. I stepped forward. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Nana. Evan said, confused. Mom. My voice shook. Lila, I said loudly. Before you marry my son, tell them. Silence fell. Her smile faltered. Tell them what? She asked. I turned to Richard. Tell them, I said, what you were doing in our bedroom. A murmur spread. Evan laughed nervously. This isn't funny, he said. Lila's face went pale. Richard stepped toward me. Nana, he hissed. Stop. I raised my voice. Tell them, I repeated, tears streaming. Tell them who you really are. Lila shook her head. Nana, please, she whispered. I pointed at her. You were upstairs with my husband, I said. The night before your wedding. A scream echoed. It came from Evan. What? He shouted. The guests erupted. Lila burst into tears. Richard grabbed my arm. You're ruining everything, he snarled. I pulled free. No, I said. You did. Evan looked at Lila. Is it true? He demanded. She opened her mouth. Closed it. Then, I can explain, she whispered. But before she could, a woman stood up from the back row. Tall, elegant, furious. I think I should explain, she said. I turned. My heart dropped. I recognized her instantly. She was the last person I expected to see, and the secret she carried would destroy what was left of my family. The woman who stood up at my son's wedding carried a truth sharp enough to draw blood. She didn't rush. She didn't shout. She walked slowly down the aisle, heels clicking, every step measured. The guests parted for her like water. Evan stared at her, confused. Lila stared at the ground. Richard went pale. I felt it in my bones. This woman matters. She stopped beside the altar. My name is Clara Whitmore, she said calmly, and I believe this wedding cannot continue. Gasps exploded. Evan snapped, Who are you? She looked at him with something close to pity. I'm the woman your fiancé has been lying to, Clara said, and the woman your father has been hiding from. Richard's mouth opened. No sound came out. I whispered, Richard? Clara turned to me. Nana May, she said gently. I'm so sorry. My knees buckled. Sorry for what? I asked. She inhaled. For the fact that your husband has been living a double life for over 20 years. The world tilted. What? Evan shouted. Richard finally found his voice. This is insane, he barked. She's lying. Clara smiled sadly. I wish I were. She reached into her purse, pulled out photographs, hotel rooms, airports, restaurants, Richard, with her, and with Lila. I heard someone scream. It might have been me. Evan grabbed the photos. What is this? He demanded. Lila broke down. I didn't plan it, she sobbed. It just happened. I stepped toward her. You slept with my husband, I said quietly. She shook her head violently. No, it's not like that. Then how? I asked. Explain it to me like I'm not dying inside. Clara answered for her. Lila is my daughter. Silence. Pure. Dead. Silence. My heart stopped. Your daughter? I whispered. Yes, Clara said. And Richard is her biological father. Evan staggered back. No, he said. That's impossible. Clara nodded. We were young, she said. Richard chose you. He left me pregnant. Richard shouted. I didn't know. That's a lie, Clara snapped. You sent money. You visited. I turned to Richard. Is it true? I asked. He couldn't look at me. That was my answer. My son dropped to his knees. I was going to marry my sister, he whispered. Lila cried hysterically. I didn't know at first, she sobbed. I swear. My head pounded. You knew before the wedding, I said. She nodded. And you still slept with him, I said, pointing at Richard. She sobbed harder. He said it was the only way to keep the family together. I slapped him. The sound echoed. Gasps. Shouts. You used her, I screamed. You used all of us. Richard grabbed my hands. Nana, please. Don't touch me, I said. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Someone had called. Clara turned to Evan. I'm so sorry, she said softly. You deserve the truth. Evan looked at me. His eyes were broken. Mom, he whispered. My whole life is a lie. I pulled him into my arms. And it's not over, Clara said quietly. I looked up. What do you mean? She hesitated, then said, There's something else you don't know about Lila. The truth has layers, and every layer cuts deeper than the last. The police cleared the yard. Guests scattered. Whispers followed us like ghosts. Inside the house, we sat in silence. Richard, Evan, Lila, Clara, and me. The wedding dress lay crumpled on the floor. I stared at it. White never meant pure. It meant hidden. Clara broke the silence. Lila wasn't raised knowing Richard was her father, she said. Lila sniffed. I found out 2 years ago, she admitted. Evan flinched. And you still dated him, he asked. I didn't know at first, she said. I swear. But once you knew, I said, you stayed. She nodded. I loved him, she whispered. Evan stood up. You loved me, he shouted. Or was that fake too? She sobbed. It was real. Richard slammed his fist on the table. This has gone far enough. I laughed bitterly. You don't get to decide that anymore. Clara turned to me. Nana, she said. There's more. My heart sank. Lila came into your son's life on purpose. The room spun. What? Evan asked. She sought him out, Clara said. Because Richard told her about him. I stared at my husband. You introduced them? I whispered. He avoided my eyes. I thought, he muttered. I thought it would fix things. By destroying us? I screamed. Lila looked up. He promised me inheritance, she said softly. Evan froze. Inheritance. Yes, she said. Your father said, if I married you, everything would stay in the family. I stood. My voice was ice. You planned to marry your brother for money. She shook her head. I started for money, she admitted. But I stayed for love. I couldn't breathe. Evan walked to the door. I need air, he said. Richard tried to follow. Don't, Evan warned. If you come near me again, I'll never forgive you. The door slammed. I turned to Richard. Get out, I said. This is my house, he snapped. I smiled coldly. No, I said. It's mine. Clara watched quietly. You didn't tell her, I said to Richard. Did you? Tell me what? I asked. He swallowed. That you're not actually Evan's biological father. The room exploded. What? I screamed. Clara closed her eyes. I suspected for years, she said. And I confirmed it recently. My chest seized. Richard whispered, Nana. I backed away. You're saying, I said slowly, that my son isn't his? Clara nodded. And neither is Lila. I collapsed into the chair. My family tree shattered in an instant. And just when I thought there was nothing left to lose, the front door opened. Evan stood there, and he had heard everything. The door slammed shut behind my son, and with it, whatever was left of the man I married. Evan stood just inside the doorway. His chest rose and fell fast. His eyes were wild. Say it again, he said quietly. So I know I didn't imagine it. No one moved. Richard finally spoke. Son. Don't call me that, Evan snapped. The words sliced through the room. I stood slowly. Evan, I said, reaching for him. He stepped back. Don't, he said. Not yet. His eyes moved from me. To Richard. To Lila. To Clara. You're telling me, he said, voice shaking, that the man who raised me isn't my father. Silence answered. That was enough. Evan laughed. A sharp, broken sound. All those years, he said. All those lectures. All those rules. He pointed at Richard. You knew, he whispered. Didn't you? Richard looked down. Yes. The word landed like a gunshot. I screamed. You knew. I cried. You knew, and you let me believe. I did it to protect you. Richard shouted. Protect me. I sobbed. By lying to me for 40 years. Evan turned to me. Mom, he said softly. Who is my father? I shook my head. I don't know, I whispered. I never cheated. Clara spoke carefully. Nana, I believe you. Richard flinched. What does that mean? Evan demanded. It means, Clara said, that the truth may be even uglier. Richard exploded. Enough, he roared. I'm done being judged. He turned toward the stairs. I'm going to pack. I blocked his path. No, I said. You're going to answer questions. He laughed cruelly. You think you have power here? I looked him dead in the eyes. I know I do. Evan stepped forward. Tell me, he said. Why? Richard hesitated, then sighed. I was young, he said. I wanted everything. I slapped him again. You used women like furniture, I said, and children like shields. Lila whispered, you said you loved me. Richard didn't look at her. I said what I needed to say. She crumpled. Clara stared at him with disgust. You ruined 2 generations, she said. Evan clenched his fists. Get out, he said. Richard scoffed. You can't kick me out of my own. It's not your house, Evan said. Mom paid for it. Richard froze. I strained my back. That's right, I said. You lost that privilege today. Security lights flashed outside. Neighbors watched. Richard grabbed a bag. This isn't over, he said. I replied calmly. It is for me. He left. The silence afterward was deafening. Lila sobbed. Evan collapsed into a chair. I walked to him. This time he didn't pull away. The truth doesn't arrive all at once. It drips. Slowly. Cruelly. Night fell. The house felt hollow. Clara made tea none of us drank. Evan stared at the floor. Finally he spoke. If Richard isn't my father, he said, then who is? My heart ached. I wish I knew, I whispered. Clara hesitated. There is one possibility, she said. I looked up sharply. What? She took a breath. Before Richard, there was another man. My throat closed. I hadn't thought about him in decades. Daniel, I whispered. Evan looked at me. Who? My first love, I said softly. Before your father. Clara nodded. I met him years ago, she said. He spoke about you. Evan's head snapped up. He knew about me? Yes, she said. And he always believed you were his. The room spun. Why didn't he come? Evan asked. I closed my eyes. He died, I said. Before you were born. Evan's shoulders shook. So I never had a chance, he whispered. I wrapped my arms around him. I'm so sorry. Lila suddenly stood. I can't stay here, she said. Evan didn't look at her. Good. She turned to me. I never meant to hurt you, she said. I met her eyes. You succeeded anyway. She left. The door closed softly. Clara sighed. There's one more thing, she said. My heart sank. Of course there is. She handed Evan an envelope. What's that? He asked. A DNA report, she said. He opened it. Read. His breath caught. What? I asked. He looked at me, stunned. Mom, Richard isn't my father. I know, and neither is Daniel. The world stopped. What do you mean? I whispered. Clara spoke quietly. You were drugged, she said. Years ago, at a company retreat. Richard had confessed to her once. I screamed. The house echoed with it. Evan dropped the paper. My life, he whispered, was built on a crime. I held him. And in that moment I realized this wasn't the end. This was only the beginning. Because the man responsible was still alive, and he was about to walk back into our lives. Grief does not knock. It kicks the door down and makes itself at home. The house stayed awake all night. Not with noise, with memories. Evan sat on the floor, back against the couch, arms wrapped around his knees, rocking slightly. I watched my son fall apart in silence. Every mother knows that moment, when your child's pain is bigger than your arms. I don't know who I am, he whispered. I sat beside him. You are Evan, I said. You are kind. You are good. He laughed bitterly. I'm the result of a crime, he said. No, I said firmly. You are the result of survival. He looked at me. Why didn't you tell me? He asked. My voice broke. Because I didn't know, I whispered. And because I wanted you safe. Clara stood by the window. I should have spoken sooner, she said. I snapped. You think? She flinched. I was afraid, she admitted. Richard threatened me. He said he'd destroy my life. I laughed hollowly. He destroyed all of ours anyway. A knock sounded. Sharp. Sudden. Evan stiffened. Don't answer it, he said. I stood. I will. I opened the door. Richard stood there. Bruised. Disheveled. I forgot something, he said. My blood ran cold. You forgot your soul, I replied. He pushed past me. Evan leapt up. You're not welcome here, he shouted. Richard smirked. You can't erase me, he said. I raised you. You lied to me, Evan roared. You manipulated my life. Richard turned to me. You turned him against me. I stepped closer. No, I said. You did that all by yourself. He looked around. Where's Lila? He asked. Gone, I said. Forever. Something dark flickered in his eyes. She owes me, he muttered. That sentence chilled me. Owes you what? I demanded. He didn't answer. He moved toward the study. Evan blocked him. What are you looking for? Evan asked. Richard's jaw tightened. My documents. I knew then. There were secrets still buried. You're not taking anything, I said. He laughed. You think you can stop me? Before I could answer, sirens wailed. Richard froze. Clara had called the police. Again. Richard glared at her. You ruined me, he hissed. No, she said. I exposed you. He turned to Evan. This isn't over, he said softly. Blood always comes back. The police took him away. Again. This time, something felt final. But deep down, I knew monsters don't disappear. They wait. Some confessions don't ask for forgiveness. They demand survival. The next day, the house filled with lawyers. Paperwork stacked like coffins. Evan sat through it all. Silent. Clara stayed. She felt responsible. I'll help however I can, she said. Evan finally looked at her. Why did you really come to the wedding? He asked. She swallowed. Because Lila was pregnant. The room went still. What? I whispered. She lost the baby 2 weeks ago, Clara said. Stress. Guilt. Fear. Evan closed his eyes. That child, he whispered. Would have been your niece, Clara said softly. Or something worse. I pressed my hand to my chest. The universe had spared us something unspeakable. Evan stood. I need to know everything, he said. No more lies. Clara nodded. Richard had a network, she said. Women. Money. Influence. My stomach churned. He kept files, she continued. Blackmail. Payoffs. I stiffened. He kept them here, I said. We went to the study. Behind a painting. A safe. Inside. Flash drives. Photos. Contracts. Lives destroyed in ink and pixels. Evan stared. This is evil, he whispered. Yes, Clara said. And it doesn't end with him. I felt it then. A pressure in the room. As if we were being watched. Suddenly, a phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. A distorted voice spoke. You should have stayed quiet, Nana May. My blood turned to ice. Who is this? I demanded. A chuckle. Someone who knows what Richard was protecting. The call ended. Evan stared at me. Mom, he said. What just happened? I whispered. We're not dealing with just one man. Outside, a car engine started. Slow. Deliberate. And for the first time in my 74 years, I was afraid not of loss, but of what comes after truth. I thought the truth would set us free. I didn't realize it would put a target on our backs. The house no longer felt like a home. It felt like a witness. Every creak, every shadow, every passing car slowed my heart. Evan barely slept. He sat at the dining table with the files spread out like a crime scene. Photos, names, numbers. Mom, he said quietly, this isn't just about us. I nodded. I know. Clara paced the room. Richard wasn't the top, she said. He was a gatekeeper. For what? Evan asked. For money laundering, sexual coercion, corporate blackmail. I closed my eyes. My husband, I whispered. The man who brought me flowers on Sundays. Clara stopped. Monsters don't look like monsters, she said. They look like fathers. The phone rang again. Unknown number. I answered. This time, no distortion. A calm voice. Male. Confident. Mrs. Carter. Or do you prefer Nana May? My spine stiffened. Who are you? I asked. A friend of your husband's. He's not my husband anymore. A chuckle. Legally, perhaps. But you're still connected. Evan leaned in. Put it on speaker, he whispered. I did. You have something that doesn't belong to you, the voice continued. Return it. And this ends peacefully. Evan spoke. You mean the evidence? A pause. Then, I mean your son's future. My breath caught. What are you threatening? I demanded. Nothing, he said lightly. I'm offering protection. Clara grabbed her coat. This is extortion, she hissed. The voice continued. Drop the files at the old marina. Tonight. Or accidents happen. The line went dead. Silence swallowed us. Evan stood. No, he said. We're not negotiating with criminals. They already know where we live, I whispered. He looked at me. Then we go public. Clara nodded slowly. I know a journalist, she said. One who doesn't scare easy. By sunset, the story was already moving. Emails sent. Files copied. Lawyers contacted. I watched Evan transform. Not into a victim. Into a man. If they come for us, he said, they'll have to do it in the light. Night fell. Too quiet. Then, headlights. Stopping outside the house. Evan reached for his phone. I stood. No, I said. This ends with me. I walked to the door, opened it, and faced the man who had been pulling the strings all along. The man smiled at me like he already owned my soul. He was older than I expected. Silver hair. Tailored suit. I'm Mr. Hale, he said. Richard spoke of you often. I laughed. He spoke of a lot of things. He stepped closer. You don't understand what you're sitting on, he said. That data can collapse institutions. Good, I said. His smile faded. You think this is justice, he asked. It's suicide. Evan appeared behind me. We've already sent copies, he said. Hale's eyes darkened. To whom? Everyone, Evan replied. Press. Prosecutors. International watchdogs. A long silence. Then Hale smiled again. Smart, he said. But late. Sirens erupted in the distance. Not police. Fire engines. Smoke rose behind us. I screamed. Our house. Hale stepped back calmly. Insurance will cover it, he said. Memories rarely do. He turned to leave. You burned down my life, I shouted. And walk away. He paused. Oh no, he said. This is just containment. Police cars screeched in. Journalists followed. Cameras. Lights. Voices. Hale disappeared into the chaos. The fire was controlled. The study destroyed. But the copies survived. Within days. Arrests. Raids. Headlines. Richard was charged. So were others. Some names shocked the nation. Some were buried. Evan held my hand as we watched the news. It's over, he said. I shook my head. No, I said. It's documented. Months later, I moved. Smaller place. Quieter. Evan visits every Sunday. He's healing. So am I. But sometimes, I see a black car slow down outside. And I remember. Truth has enemies. And stories like mine don't end. They continue.